Hey guys, Artiar here. So today's video is a little bit different because previously we covered the best shell and matrix combination for DPS unit. Then probably some of you are actually wonder how do you build your bruiser unit, right? So for today's we are going to cover that. But I will be real for you guys. Bruiser style unit are not exactly my specialty because even in this light, which I have been covering for years, I never really been a strong bruiser player. So rather than wing it, I figure out like why not we just bring in someone who is actually knowing what to play around with the bruiser unit. So today we have a very special guest, Red, which is one of a very active player in Etheria Restart. So let him introduce himself to you guys. Red.
Hello, I'm Brett. I'm currently rank 1 on the RTA ladder, and I've also just recently started making my own YouTube content. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, so I also noticed his RTA video, which that's how the reason why I noticed Brett, and then also wanted to contact him to make this video sharing for everyone about the bruiser unit shell and also the matrix combination. So we'll go through the shell one by one, which is through NicoNana, then Sharon Flame, Hoyan, and Regokutsu. Then probably we'll go through like what kind of shell is actually worth noticing if you're actually trying to play a bruiser playstyle. Okay, so the first one we're gonna go through is NicoNana. So within this 4 shell here, Brett, which one you think that is actually more noticeable or you actually pay attention for when you're actually grinding for your unit?
Okay, so White Fang is very obviously a DPS shell, and I do not really consider this whatsoever. Artisan, Gigabyte, and Alicorn are all viable options though that you should look out for. Artisan, for example, is very impactful on units like Rahu and Holden, and Gigabyte is a great shell on Sanya, for example, but can also sometimes be used on Ningluo. And then you have Alicorn, which is great on faster units if you want to counter CC yourself, or you can even put it on certain tanks if you want to fill a nice CC counter role in your bruiser setup.
So within these like 3 shells you mentioned, because White Fang obviously is not going to be the consideration because it's pure DPS, like Artisan here, like what kind of matrix effect you pay attention more? I know that probably Bird Buff is one of the mandatory matrix combination for the tough set effect, but what are the other set effect you actually pay attention for, like Strife, Bramble, or Unbreakable?
So, as you said, Bloodbath is completely mandatory on basically all bruiser units. There are some maybe situations where you could not use it, but I personally think just put Bloodbath on them, it's easier that way. I personally think the best 8 set on Artisan is Strive on most units, but on Rahu in particular, Bramble is basically mandatory, so you'd have to go for that. Unbreakable can be like, if you don't drop any Bramble or Strive, Unbreakable is okay.
So
you can just build that.
Like
but
alternative, right?
Yeah, but Swift Rush 8 is actually not bad either. So if you don't drop Strive Bramble, then Swift Rush or Unbreakable 8 are both viable options. And then obviously on both Rahu and Holden, Kolos Guard is the best because they both care about the defense.
So you won't ever consider like Etherplague for the HP and accuracy?
See, the thing is, it's okay. So if you just don't drop any Kolos Guard, I would build the Etherplague before. But both Rahu and Holden have very low base HP stats, so the HP percent is not gonna do that much. And especially on Holden, he cares a lot about the amount of defense he has, because you need to hit those 500 thresholds to get the higher counter-attack chance. Yeah. So Etherplague is okay. Honestly, what I care about is the effect accuracy on Etherplague, and that's quite nice. But Kolos Guard is just better.
I see. So you'll focus like something, let's say like Strife, Bloodbath, and Close Guard as a perfect kind of situation.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best shell that you can drop for Artisan. And I think for the future, it's also going to be just the best version of Artisan for a lot of different units. Strive is a very good 8 set, let me tell you. That thing is very strong.
Because keep getting attacked, then get advanced Terminator is actually will cut off some certain situation, right?
Yep, it's you just start seeing your units take turns way more as soon as you have strive on them.
I see. Then, is there anything special about like Gigabyte or Alicon like matrix combination effect, like, or they just focus on speed?
Well, actually, I would on Gigabyte for the unit that uses Gigabyte the best is Sanya right now.
Yeah.
And then I would still always run Bloodbath because she is still going to be a tank unit. But if you run Strive or at least Swift Rush as an option, and then Evil Guard, and then you stack effect resistance on her. This is like a build that has become very prevalent in the top tiers right now on Sanya. This is a very good way to make a third CC counter unit, because right now there's only really Doki Doki and Ling Luo to counter CC. But if you build Sanya like this, she's actually very good into CC comps.
I see. So it's like just high effect resistant to counter back the effect accuracy.
Yes, and with Sanya's skill 1 pushing 30%, and Gigabyte pushing 30%, and Strive pushing 10%, you're taking turns like nobody's business. And if you have enough effect resistance, like 200 to 230% maybe, with just 1 HP right side and 2 effect resistance, then you just can't get CC'd, and she will just eventually cleanse another unit, and then you will go from there.
I see. Then how about for Alicon? Is the best combination for Alicon is about like Swift Rush or Swift Smite? I think I saw a lot of players actually run these two combination just for the speed.
Yeah, this is exactly what I run on my Lily actually, because I run Lily to take her from the CC players personally, and I put all my fastest gear on her, so that I just put the Swift Rush, Swift Smite, and since I'm not that fast of a player, I haven't been sitting in Doki that much. Having Alicorn does so much, because even if they outspeed me, then she will very usually go and then cleanse herself and then, do her
cut
thing.
back, yeah. So Swift Rush 12
really
piece, Swift Smite 6 piece, then I will assume the other 8 piece you want to gamble, which is going to be Strife for turn meter pushing.
Well, I personally think that it's just better to do an offset for your last 2 pieces to get the highest speed possible. Because none of the 8 sets do that much when you're just going for the first turn. So instead, pick out your whatever quad roll speed piece you've
Whatever
hit
fastest
on
thing.
on like a Fury whatever thing, right?
Just focus on Swift Rush and Swift Smite, then the rest, whatever, just go for speed.
Exactly.
Okay, then the next one's Sharon. So in my opinion, Sharon Shell isn't like something for the bruiser unit other than the Supernova for probably like Ling Luo, for example. But what do you think about the Shell from Sharon?
Okay, so I think that Supernova is a super good option on specifically Fushu.
Oh.
Otherwise, I am not the biggest fan of this thing. But I actually think that Halloween has a very interesting build option on specifically Tsukiyomi.
Tsukiyomi, oh.
If you want. Yes, there is a bruiser Tsukiyomi version that has been cooked up, which runs 12 Swift Rush and 12 Bloodbath on Halloween.
Wow.
Which is very funky, because you keep pushing herself with her ultimate, her S3, and silencing the enemy team and reducing your own team's cooldowns. And because she pushes herself and takes extra turns, Halloween actually only has 1 turn cooldown since it reduces itself with the skill 2 from Tsukiyomi. And she will just keep reducing your team's cooldowns on end. And it's actually crazy. Very important note on this, you need to max both skill 2 and skill 3 for this to work properly.
For the high chance of silence and also the turn meter push?
Well, for the skill cooldown reduction actually, because when she has Halloween and her own skill 2, because her skill 2 reduces its own cooldown and skill 3 cooldown actually, when it's used. So it's actually a scam 4-turn cooldown, it's a 3-turn cooldown actually. And then if she pushes herself with her ult, that's -1 cooldown as well. And then you just keep spamming those silences and cooldown reduction on your team, and everybody has speed up and attack up on 100% uptime.
Dang.
This is actually a very cool build, which you can use when you use things like Bloodbath DPSers. I don't know if you've seen it, but Bloodbath Messiah and Bloodbath Yelly have recently become things that people use in higher ranks. Can be quite annoying to deal with. And yeah, this Tsuki version is just a way for you as a bruiser player to take away all the cleaves options and still play bruiser.
That's actually very interesting. That's my first time knowing that build, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think many people know of it. It's like I've seen 2 people do it, and I've been like cooking it with some guildmates. So this is a bit of a reveal.
Probably you also make a video like about it, right?
Maybe. I haven't built it yet personally, but I have some friends who've been.
Probably you can look forward for it.
Kind of wild. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna build it pretty soon because I think it's so cool. Yeah.
Okay, then the next one, Shadow Flame Hoyan here with all these 4 shell. I think the most seen for bruiser is gonna be Amber, but I do notice in your video that some of your unit are actually running with Jacogat. So anything about like Shadow Flame Hoyan?
Yes, okay, so I personally think that Shadow Flame Hoyan and Rengoku are the 2 best things to farm in general.
Okay.
Because Shadow Flame Hoyan has Jackal Guard, Law of Silence, Revelation, Amber, all incredible shells for PvP. Like, obviously everybody knows Revelation is good, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Amber is a bit of an interesting one, it's the one I use the least, but a guildmate of mine actually managed to hit top 20 in RTA, stacking a bunch of Ambers. And if you have 3 or 4 Ambers on your characters, you literally cannot lose to Cleave. You just cannot lose.
To just prevent themselves to die and then stay on the battle.
Like he plays regular bruiser characters, and he picks a bunch of Amber units as soon as he sees he plays against Cleave, and he never loses. He just never loses to Cleave.
But
So
isn't
that
it
is
a bit
very
risky,
cool
like when they, let's say they get Cleave and then you turn into the ice state, then it just tank through the whole thing?
Yep. I mean, you build full tank on them anyways, you just tank it through. With the Amber defense buff, they can't do anything.
I see. Then for Amber wise, what kind of matrix effect combination would you...
Obviously Bloodbath, since the point is to tank everything from Cleave.
Yep.
But going for the Bramble or Strive, depending on what unit you're using, is always nice. And Swift Rush is probably the best 8 set if you can't find Strive or Bramble for a character. And then Swift Smite or Colossus Guard, depending on the unit, are both super fine. You don't have to be too picky about it, because usually these units are not the most caring which of them you use. They just want to be tanky and have some speed.
I do see players play like Tiamat with Amber. If that's the case, what kind of matrix would you think they would actually run?
That is a very good one, because I was for a long time now running Amber on both my Sanya and Tiamat for exactly the reason that it's very good to counter Cleave. And then I personally think that Swift Smite is the best, especially on Sanya, because she really wants to be pretty fast to take those turns and keep that healing and cleansing going.
Yeah.
And Strive is for sure the best once again. Strive is just a very, very good set. And there I think on Sanya, Bramble has a cool option where if you proc Bramble, it actually pushes yourself up 30%.
Yeah.
And then you cut and heal. This is something I ran for a while. It can be pretty awkward actually if you have units on Lighthouse and they do, for example, a Hein with not Rev, hits your guys, Sanya pushes up but not your Ling Luo because it didn't proc the Lighthouse, but you wanted the Ling Luo to go first. So I'm kind of moving away from the Bramble Sanya, but I think if you aren't against people that have a very specific strategy to counter these things, it's still very good.
I see, for the turn meter pushing from the counter attack.
Yeah, and obviously on Tiamat, Bramble mandatory. Bramble is insane on Tiamat.
Yeah, the counter attack.
Like, her skill 1 in regular form does a lot of damage. Her skill 1 in dragon form does too much damage.
Too much damage.
Yeah, so yeah, Tiamat, just run Bloodbath and Bramble and you're good. Whichever third set you find that has good stats is fine.
Okay, then how about Jacogat?
Yes, Jackal Guard is my personal favorite shell in the game, actually.
Oh.
When the game was releasing, I was like, this is the best shell in the game. It just has to be so insane. And I think that Lighthouse has taken the spot for me, but personally, I think it's probably the second best shell in the game.
Okay.
Because this is so good when Lily is super contested and often banned, and Fushu is only good into certain comps. You won't have the speed up on your team at all times, and even when you run those, they don't have 100% speed plus uptime. So having speed plus on a unit like Kazuyo or Obol or even Holden or Lilith, these units that want to take many turns, do their CC, keep their things going, it can be super impactful. And importantly, Jackal Guard has the option for both Swift Rush and Bloodbath, plus Bulwark. And obviously, as you see, Swift Smite was the key. If it didn't have Swift Smite, it wouldn't work at all, really.
For the effect accuracy and the speed.
Yeah, it's the speed. It could skip the effect accuracy for all I care. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but you want it for the speed, obviously. So on CC units, this is a super core shell to pick up. And I think that everybody, even bruiser players, should have some CC units available to take from the CC players. That is the best way to fight CC sometimes, is to just take their Kazuyo, take their Obol sometimes.
Take their Obol away, they can't CC you.
Exactly. And you can play like 4 tank units and an Obol. Even if the Obol gets through, a lot of the time their CC is so much worse that you can just 3v4 them even if your Obol dies.
So for Jackal Guard, for example, we focus on speed. So we're going to build something like Swift Rush and Swift Smite. Then the other pieces, it's going to be just anything about speed.
It's always Bulwark. Always
Bulwark
on Jackal Guard. This is one of the most important parts. Bulwark is an incredibly good set. If I could, I would put it on most units, but not all shells have it, because they know that it's very good.
I see. So if the Jackal Guard doesn't have Bulwark, you won't recommend them to actually try for it, right? Even though they have Swift Rush and Swift Smite.
I don't use any Jackal Guards that don't have Bulwark, I think, right now. For specifically Lilith and Holden, I recommend Bloodbath, Bulwark, Swift Smite, actually. Because if you put your best Bloodbath speed gear, you can still hit in the 270 to 280 speed range on these characters. And they are very tanky. So you can be a fast CC unit that also has Bloodbath. These are two of my most picked units, actually, and they do so much work.
Tanky with control. Dang, that's actually disgusting.
Yes, it's pretty disgusting.
I see. Then how about for Law of Silence? What kind of unit you actually try to build with him?
I think that Law of Silence Hoyan is actually her best build.
Oh, it's not going to be Count?
No, I actually don't like Count on Hoyan that much, personally. Because I run Law of Silence Bloodbath Hoyan. And that makes it so Messiah cannot kill your Hoyan.
Also, you make your own 12 set Bloodbath, right?
Yes, so you do 12 Bloodbath, 6 Kenai, and 6 Fury Edge. So all you need to drop from Law of Silence is Kenai Fury Edge.
I see.
And then you just survive any damage they can deal while you have your Law of Silence. Since they can't target you, it's just AoE, and she's just gonna live it with Bloodbath and the damage reduction from Void. And then if you build as much damage as possible with that, she will still kill all the DPS units.
Yeah, I saw the video that you're fighting Kaka, right? You're using Hoyan to actually one-shot them and revive back a unit.
Yep, and that's on Law and Bloodbath, and she can still do that much damage.
That is actually amazing.
Yes, so this build effectively removes her main counter in the game and still allows her to do nearly as good as the other version.
Okay, then the last shell bosses, Regokutsu. I believe that the best thing you want to pay attention is going to be Lighthouse, or is there other thing we need to know?
Of course, Lighthouse is the best. I personally think that Count has some good uses if you're playing standard or aggro, but I don't run much of that right now, so no Count for me.
Okay.
Fortissimo is mostly a PvE shell. I think the healing is very nice, but it's just too slow. It comes on the second turn, right?
Yeah.
And it's always the first turn that matters the most in PvP. Codex is an incredibly good shell, though. I think that over time, there's definitely gonna be tank units you will want Bloodbath Bulwark Codex on. Just like with
Codex.
Yes, because just like with Jackal, if you put a tanky unit that is also decently fast, and then they have an incredibly OP ultimate, if they ever release that, which I think is inevitable, that is something to definitely look out for. So don't remove the Bloodbath Bulwark Swift Raid, Swift Smite codexes. Obviously, on Obol, since I still do run Obol in my tank setups just to take them from the CC players, Obol loves the Swift Rush Bulwark Swift Smites on Codex. It's just so good. It's disgustingly good, actually.
With speed and immunity.
Yeah. This is just the default you should put on your CC units a lot of the time. The Swift Rush immunity, and then either Codex or Jackal, depending on what unit it is.
Okay, then the last one, Lighthouse.
Yes, Lighthouse is the most basic bruiser shell. If you don't know what to put on a bruiser, put Lighthouse on it. It will probably work. Like, it's not optimal on every unit. For example, I personally like the Holden on Jackal more, but I think Lighthouse is a good option. I personally like Tiamat on sometimes Amber or Alicorn more, but Lighthouse is a great option. I like Sanya on Gigabyte more, but it's a great option with Lighthouse. But then Lighthouse is also mandatory on some of your units. Like, to me, Lighthouse is mandatory on Ling Luo, basically. And on Doki Doki, if you're playing Bruiser. Because these units, you take the hit from Rev or Cleave, they push up, either heal you up or make all your units take the next turn, and you usually win the game.
Because you tank through the damage and you heal back, turn meter push.
Yeah, because due to how Lighthouse works, you will only take one hit, the unit will then push past their units and do their thing. So you don't just take turn 2, you take the second turn, right after they go. So they don't usually get to do their full combo. Sorry, I think you saw a bit of this in the EWS, where Han was building Lighthouse on units like Tsukiyomi and Lily and stuff like that, to steal them from the DPS players, and then they take the turn and push up his units. Yeah, it's like, it's both there for the pushing, and the fact that it heals over the rest of the game is mainly good for Bruiser. But even if it just did the push, it would be a good shell on certain units.
Then, in terms of matrix combination, like what kind of matrix effect you pay attention more when you're grinding for Lighthouse?
Yeah.
Lighthouse.
So if you hit Swift Rush, Swift Smite on a Lighthouse, then it's a very good Lighthouse to use for things as mentioned with the Tsukiyomi Lily, and could be Chiaki the Echo.
The fast
unit.
unit.
Could be Oki, like these fast units that you can build them as high speed as possible, but if you get outsped and like damaged, you will take the next turn and counter cleave them. It's a very good option, but obviously on all the tanks you want the Bloodbath, always the Bloodbath. I think Strive is the best 8 set once again here, because this makes it so you will push 35% when they touch you. That is an insane amount of push. And Swift Rush is the second best here, because just having more speed makes it so you're more likely to cut. Because when units start getting to the 340, 350 range, if your Ling Luo is like 270 speed, she won't cut even with Lighthouse. Yeah, you need to build some speed on them, because 25% is sometimes not enough if the enemies are too fast. That's why Swift Rush is a very good 8 set. And then Swift Smite is obviously the best here, since, as mentioned, you want some speed. But on units like Holden, you can definitely put the Bloodbath, Colossus Guard, Strive, or Bramble on him, and it will work just fine. It's like a solid Holden setup you can use.
So defensive part you can go for Colossus Guard, then speed one go for
you can use this on Rahu as well. Solid on Tiamat with the Bloodbath, Bramble, either Swift Smite or Colossus Guard, on the actual Bruiser units, right?
Yeah. Then I think we basically cover every single shell, basically until now. That's all the shell we can actually go for. So among these 4 bosses, would you highly recommend grind Regokutsu more or the Shadow Flame Hoyan more based on your experience?
I think that you can start with, when you get into the game, it's very good to sit in Hoyan for quite a while, because it lets you do very well in both PvP and PvE. And because it's like the first boss where you can get the really nice speed up shell and jackal, and revelation is super good for PvE as well.
Yep.
And this will also let you do a solid PvP setup to actually get some of those RTA points to start buying stuff in the shop.
Yep.
But then if you feel like, okay, I'm not dropping enough speed out, or I'm just bored with cleave, then definitely move on to the Regokutsu. And after all that Shadow Flame Hoyan farm, you'll hopefully have dropped some of the good tank options I mentioned as well.
Yep.
Yep. So that's my recommendation for sure. Currently I am sitting in the Regokutsu mines for the last 2 weeks.
Dang, 2 weeks.
I have not dropped a single lighthouse with Bloodbath Strive and a third set.
Bloodbath Strive. Oh, no, wait, 2 weeks?
I have not dropped a single one with either Colossus Guard or Swift Smites.
So you are aiming for Strive,
Bloodbath,
and any of these two, but you still can't get it yet.
And either of these two I would be happy with. I
Dang.
don't care. I want both, any of them, and I cannot drop it. I'm so sad.
2 weeks long, max refresh every day.
Yeah.
Still haven't get it. Dang, that's actually crazy. I think if not mistaken, I saw my union mate actually got one by like asking like, oh, is this good? in the chat.
I've had so many people do that exactly to me, and I cry a bit every time.
Then I wish you good luck to actually get the matrix combination that you actually wanted.
I've started my farm for today. Today's the day, right?
Yeah, today will be the day. Okay, so and that will be wrap up for our full breakdown of the shell and matrix combination for bruiser unit here in Etheria Restart. So bruiser can be tricky to build right. They are not just about tanky, also dishing out damage and sustain through longer fights. Some of them want to be fast, like mixture with fast and tankiness. Some are just built with tanky. They are actually have a lot of different kind of stuff you can actually go through. So hope this video can actually help you guys to have an idea of what you actually aim for, the shell and the matrix combination for the bruiser unit. So massive thanks to Braid for sharing his insight and helping to make this guide as in-depth and helpful as possible. So be sure to check him out, especially if you are looking for PvP guides and PvP showcase or optimize your builds for PvP as well. Then anything you want to say about like for the ending, Braid?
It was great to be here. Very fun. I enjoyed watching your channel myself. So yeah, come check out some RTA gameplay. I'm gonna soon post the Holden 101 video. It goes in depth on everything you want to know about Holden for PvP. So if you're interested about that, come check it out.
Alright, I'll be looking forward for it as well, because I've been very loving the Holden design and also the build. Alright, so thank you for coming by as well, Braid, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Sky Elk, Trekcan, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Nader, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwaltz, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, Rocco Stendions, thank you so much for your support. And also special thanks to the Super Tanks MVP, HMZ Rings, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wardeners, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.